Hey guys, my name is JessiMew and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, we set foot on a brand new land. We are now on the Oasis Island, and I'm super excited about this one because I've never played a game on the Oasis before, and this place looks amazing, especially for storytelling. I mean, this giant island right in the middle, with these trees over here. Tell me this doesn't look like the perfect place for us to build a family? Like a special little oasis family, probably with a water body too. Because judging by the depth of this water, all these currents rushing too, I don't think any old creature is going to be able to swim through that. So Adam's pride must just be like giddy with delight right now. All of these creatures with a water body, especially Anthem. I bet he would just dive into the ocean to collect all of these shells. Maybe he could sing a little song of bliss as he goes. So you can gather up our very first food here. We'll have him go to the other side on the next turn. And then we're going to have to find a good place for Komesi to have her baby too. I'm sure the tribe would all jump to help her. Oh, for that matter, we're going to have to make sure that there's no dangers out here. Of course, we have the cactus plants, but we do have some roots too. Now the cactus, I'm sure you guys know already, we can't really pick from. It will cause us to take damage if we pick those berries. I don't think any of our creatures have a high enough defense at the moment to pick them safely, so we're going to steer clear of those. I mean, I guess with all of our purr-snout healers in the area, maybe if we're particularly careful, we could gather some food. But we have so many other safer methods to collect right now, I think we'll probably stick with those. So the one creature I would expect to lead this would probably be Eagle Eye. She's already pretty used to being a scout anyways, and with her heightened senses, she'll be able to tell if there's any danger coming. So let's have her jump way up here. She can sniff out those berry bushes. Oh, this is perfect. It's pretty close to the tree as well, and I think they would want to guide Komesi toward the shade. Surely that would be the best place for her to set up her nest. So go ahead and scoot a little bit further. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything dangerous out here. There's plenty of berries for you to pick. So let's have Komesi start making her way underneath the tree. We'll have her set down her nest right here, and I think that should at least protect her baby from the heat, because as we saw before, it is very, very hot here. That's another thing that's probably going to affect Tigrai the most. He always had trouble in the jungles, and I mean, this is even worse. But with that root in the distance, he probably can't resist. We'll bring him over here to dig this up for us. Oh, and he actually found a normal berry bush? A fully grown berry bush in the oasis? Oh, that is excellent. I guess we'll bring him around this way then. Maybe he could point that out to somebody. I suppose maybe even Messi would want to follow him to make sure he's okay. I'm sure she probably noticed when she was traveling with him before that the heat tends to affect him a little bit more. So she doesn't like that he's getting so far off on his own, and she can at least pick these berries with the one velvet paw that she has, so she'll make sure that he's fed. I guess this tribe probably won't know much in the way of bunnies. I'm pretty sure they only spawn in the grasslands, so we're not going to see any little bunnies hopping around here, but we should have plenty of fish right in the middle, so that's where we want to focus most of our hunters. Eagle Eye, I'm sure, is going to be one of the first since she is so quick. And I would expect her little brother Lionclaw to follow her. But I feel like Starfruit would probably very shyly ask if they could maybe go over to Komesi and visit her new baby. She is probably really excited to meet them. And for that matter, she could come over here and pick the berries too. She knows she's pretty good at that. We'll have her clear out the grass over here. I suppose we should probably be carving out our pathways anyway. That's something that Cherry is going to have to be mindful of, because her new friends are not that good at thinking ahead. But yeah, Lionclaw is not going to leave Starfruit's side. He's already made that pretty clear. So instead, I think we're going to leave him by the shore. I was going to have him clear out a little bit of the grass, but it might be a good idea for him to go shell scouting as well. Oh, excellent, and our first fish! Just what we like to see. Not that leech, though. It looks like somebody's going to have to rescue poor Lionclaw on the next turn, and it's probably going to end up being Starfruit, because I can't imagine that these creatures would stick around too long. Of course, we want Dukta and Cherry to make their way over to the oasis as soon as possible. So I think they're going to go diving into the grass too. And we already know that Flytrap has absolutely no interest in staying here with the new babies. He craves, as always, excitement and adventure, and there's no better way to get it than by diving into this tall grass. So we'll have him play leapfrog with Eagle Eye for now, as the leeches get to Lion Claw, and as we try to make a safe pathway for the bluebird leaders. Now we already know that Dukta is quite smitten with Cherry, and she does appreciate his presence, but I feel like now might be a good chance for him to share his story about the bluebirds themselves. He can tell her about how the bluebirds are kind of like guides to his family, and when the bluebirds sent him toward the ocean, he had no idea that he was going to run straight into her. He probably never would have met her if not for that fateful encounter, so he thinks their reunion is pretty much meant to be. And as for Cherry, she could reveal that her mother actually had a bit of an allegiance with the Sky Seekers. Her mother, Passion Fruit, always pushed them to be independent, to think for themselves, not necessarily just about the stories of Adam. And for that matter, wouldn't Adam want the bluebird feathers to return as one? So she can't see how this would be a bad thing for her side of the family. Maybe it is truly time that they listen to their hearts and let their little family grow. But for now, the very first baby we're going to see is Comesi's. Oh my goodness! And what a giant baby she is! Oh, she has the big body. Now, it's been a long time since we last saw the big body. Thank goodness we put her under the shade, because this baby is not going to last long without something to keep her cool. But I love to see that she has the cracker jaw just like her mother, so they can both go scouting around for shells just like Lion Claw. But first, Starfruit, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you can go ahead and scoop up those berries, and come over here and pick off the leech. We'll need somebody to lick his wounds too, because I'm not sure if there are any piranha fish in the water, but I really don't want to find out. I suppose we could always have Anthem swim his way over. We might even move Lion Claw over here, that way he can get to him much more easily. There we go, we can't be too careful in a new land like this. And now I guess Anthem has the chance to fawn over this new baby too. We have to find a name for her as well. You know, she kind of actually reminds me of her father with that red fur of hers. Maybe not quite as striking as his, because she does have a little bit of her mother's influence. But I feel like we should still give her a name to honor his memory. Maybe Sundew would be a good name for her. That was a name that one of you suggested, and I thought it was super cute. But she does have a bit of a tough life ahead of her, and she's going to have to learn very quickly to use the shade to her advantage. I wonder if maybe Lion Claw can still reach one of those shells? Maybe if we light up a little bit more of the water with Anthem. Oh my gosh, it's right there. Thank goodness, so you can use your second turn to grab that shell for us. There are so many shells in the water. I guess this was what Anthem was waiting for all of his life. I feel like Cherry probably feels the same way. If only she was sticking to these parts of the ocean. Because I can't imagine there's going to be any shells in here. This is probably the space best reserved for the fish. So let's bring Eagle Eye straight to the water's edge. We can have her look around. Now, she's not going to be able to jump in there and swim, but she can at least observe, see if she can find any of the fish. Yes! Oh, we have the koi clownfish in the water here. I'm not actually sure if she's going to be able to scoop those up. I think they need a foreign fishing for that. So that might be a bit of a problem. We'll need our double-clawed babies for that. But that is what our new families are going to be for, so maybe it's time that we get started. We'll bring Flytrap over here so he can observe the ocean too. And we'll have Dukta and Cherry set up their mutation menus. So we definitely want to make sure that they'll keep the water body. I think that means that we'll have to place it into Dukta's mutation menu. Otherwise his lean body might just get in the way. And then of course the claw too. That way his babies will hopefully have some way of getting those delicious morsels. And as for Cherry, we have to watch out for that infertile trait. So let's put the high fertility into her first slot. Thankfully, all of their babies will have the big ears, which will help them immensely in this heat. So that's one less thing we have to worry about. I guess we might as well stick her with the fishing tail too, just to see if we can maybe weasel that into our genetics. And then we'll have him breed with her, so she can find a nice good place to settle down her nest. How about right at the edge of the water? Like, I'm sure she would want to go to one of these islands to have her babies, but she's not sure if Dukta can follow. So we'll have her plant down her nest right here, and Dukta can clear out the grass to keep her safe. It's actually too bad that we don't have any algae in the water to build her nest out of instead, because I feel like this is definitely Splash's island. Like, there's plenty of little fishy friends for him. So if they could find some algae to present to him maybe, I'm sure he would be very impressed. I guess we'll have little Komesi come over here to clear out some of the grass too. Just help everybody with their pathways. And then it's just down to you guys. It looks like Messi has a couple more of these berries to pick, but I wonder if she's getting a little bit concerned. I know she definitely wants to meet little Sundew. She could even be the mentor to Sundew, just like she was to Komesi. But she still doesn't want to leave Tiger Eye's side. She's a little bit too worried that he's going to get himself into some major trouble. And for that matter, she might even be a bit smitten. He's probably trying his best to appease her by saying that Crescent himself has always watched over him. The god of life is not going to let him pass away too soon, and he has endured much worse in the jungles. I think that mysterious side of him would probably only intrigue her more. And for that matter, her own mother was Catmint, right? She was the one with the crown of bones, so I feel like she was pretty well connected to the gravediggers as well. Crescent and Mooneye, the gods of rebirth. So she must feel some connection with him, some sort of pull. Oh, and Flytrap, we have you too. Let's see, can you find any more little berries maybe? Something for you to snack on? Oh, just the cactus? Yeah, we're gonna steer clear of that. I know you are quite reckless, but even you know better than to stick your hands straight into a cactus. So our very first baby, our very first little heir to the throne was born. Oh, and we couldn't have asked for a better one. Look at him. He has the stripes. He's orange. Oh, he must remind them so much of Adam. Unfortunately, he does have his father's lean body instead of the water body. In fact, it looks like his mother even passed the toxic body instead of the one that we wanted. So that's kind of a bummer. But still, this has to be an excellent sign from their ancestors at the very least, that they are definitely headed in the right direction. So this little Adam baby, Kiernuro, well, that's an adorable name as well. Yeah, they'll have to keep the old names, of course. He might not be diving into the ocean with his mother, but he'll be an excellent prince in the swamps at least. You guys all seem to agree that we should probably just keep heading to the right. Our tribe is just having a little spot of bad luck, but eventually we should come across the islands that we need. So let's let their family keep growing. The bigger the family, the better, I guess. We'll scoot Dukta over here, so we can have Cherry set up a nest right next to her little baby. That way, if any of those pesky bluebirds do come swooping down, we should be able to keep them safe. Oh, you actually can pick up the clown koi? Oh, Eagle Eye, I had no idea. Excellent, so we do have a way to collect food. Alright, I hope you can live up to your name, Eagle Eye, because these fish can be pretty tricky. I saw another one scoot off in this direction, but I feel like she's probably going to continue following Flytrap. If we sit her right here, maybe he could scout ahead for her. They could just work together to try to find more morsels. Yes! Oh, they move so fast too. Eagle Eye, if you were brave enough to jump to one of these islands, maybe that would be the best course of action. And I also noticed that we have some of the algae over here after all. Maybe Flytrap could pick that up for you and bring it back to the royal nests. He's not much for babysitting, but he does like a good mission. So for now, we better just clear out the pathway. That way it'll be easier for him to get back. The sooner he can return with all of that nesting material, the better. I'd really like for Anthem to meet his new little nephews and nieces too. But for now, I think he's going to have to go after the shells. He's enjoying himself anyways. Oh, and we have some pretty deep water-breathing fruits. Geez, I wonder if a lion claw could actually get to that. I mean, I know he would love to go after those shells as well, but that's pretty deep even for him. I wonder if Starfruit would yell out in alarm, like try to stop him because she can see exactly where his gaze is. But he has 3 turns. I mean, he should have enough time to scoot down here, then one more tile, and grab that water-breathing plant. There we go, so technically he didn't take any damage, and now he can play around with Anthem. Oh, you poor thing, Starfruit. You are going to have quite the hard time keeping track of your best friend, especially if he's going where you can't even follow. Maybe we'll have her pace the shores, like nervously waiting for him to resurface. It looks like we could have her come over here and try to dig up some of these worms too, just for something to do. Now as for these 2 back here, maybe we should consider a family between them too. I don't really want to leave all of these perfectly good berries behind either, so this might be a good place for us to set up some potential collectors. It might take a couple of generations because I do have different plans in mind over the Crackerjaw, the Nimble Fingers. I actually want to see the mask pop up on these babies, because that would connect them to Crescent and Mooneye above all else. Then if we try our best to keep the water body strong, I guess this could eventually turn into our water gravediggers, and that has been a long time coming, so I'm sure their ancestors would be proud. I'll bet that Tiger Eye never thought that he would get to start a family. He's probably never even really considered it, and after leaving his brother behind on that old island, his heart has been pretty heavy, so this will be a good way for him to get past that, I guess, to move on and start his new life with Messi. Yeah, that's why I placed that high fertility in his 2nd slot. We need to make sure that we fix that before we go too much further. Oh my goodness. Jeez, good thing we're getting started on their family now. Messi's not going to have much time to build that nest. So let's go ahead and skip the day again. But first, let's go back to Cherry so we can see the birth of her 2nd child. Oh, another little prince. And this time he has the purr snout just like his father. He has that dark red fur of his mother too. And hopefully he has the water body. No, that lean body is getting in the way. I guess we'll just have to keep trying then. Eventually one of their kids should inherit the water body from both of their parents. I do love to see the bird genetics sneaking their way further and further into our families though. Hopefully someday we'll be able to pull that out once and for all. And he does have the stinky tail, so at least he can keep his brothers safe if they do go to the swamps together. He'll be safe from Mulberry's curse. So little Rogue here is another pretty good candidate for both of those bluebird feathers. But I think if one of their babies is born with a water body, that one would probably take top priority. We'll have Kieran Neuro scoot over here, I guess. That way he's still protected too. And that way we don't have to worry about building an extra nest at the moment, because we're still waiting on all of that algae from Flytrap. Ooh, and your job just got a whole lot easier, Eagle Eye. Look at this, one of the clown koi actually passed away right next to you. And it looks like there's one over here by Flytrap as well, but it might be a little bit trickier for you to get to that. I think he should be able to collect it by himself. Yeah, it doesn't take any skill to hunt down one of the dead ones, but I'm sure he's going to pretend that it was a great victory. So scoop up all of that algae for us, and then we'll have you start making your way back to the leaders. I guess if we do scoot Eagle Eye over here, it should be easier for him to move through all of that tall grass. At least the pathway is slowly but surely coming along. Eventually it'll be much easier for them to make their way through. And how are you guys doing down here? Lionclaw is still safe and sound, despite how worried Starfruit is right now. Oh, he has picked up a wonderful feast for you. I know you are probably going to give him an earful once he does make it back to the surface, but he probably thinks that he's doing you a favor. Now it looks like you're not needed here anymore, Anthem, so let's have you make your way back up to the surface as well. I guess you could even settle down next to the berry bushes, maybe pick up some of those berries for the little baby. Oh, and I wonder if she'll be smitten with them too. They do have compatible immunity genes, and wouldn't they make an interesting pair? She with her big body. It would be very difficult for her to follow him, but I'm sure she would try her best. His singing alone would be enough to guide her. So maybe these two could even make our brand new line of mermaids in the future, who knows? For now, I suppose she could do some exploring. Her mother will request that she stays beneath the tree, but if she moves over here, that should set her on the very same course as Anthem as he makes his way toward Cherry's growing family. It's too bad that we can't collect anything at all from these trees without the wings. Like, I feel like this island would actually be a pretty great place for our birds. Maybe Solaris is part of this island too? So they'll have to lay out some of that algae that Flytrap collected for Solaris to bring to Splash. Maybe that would be the fastest way to go about it. So I guess, Comessi, all you could really do is help us with our pathways, and maybe soothe poor Star's mind as well. Comessi knows firsthand how it feels to be so afraid of the ocean, so she could probably relate to that fear alone. I don't think we have any more worms for her to try to dig up yet though, so I guess we'll just have her stay right here. She wants to light up the way after all. She doesn't want Landclaw to get lost. And that brings us back to our gravediggers, where Messi is going to plant down her very first nest. So go ahead and collect the berries for your baby, and then I think we're going to have Tiger Eyes sink into the water, just for a little while. I would like him to cool down a bit, so we'll give him the chance to relax. This should be the end of our turns now. I don't think we have any more grass to pick up with Cherry, so let's go ahead and skip the day again and see if collecting all of that algae was enough. No, we still don't have the water body. Oh, that's disappointing. But at the same time, we do have a baby who looks almost just like his brother. Oh my gosh, I think only their stripes are different. Rodukta. Oh, did you name him after his father? That's pretty cute. And not only that, but it seems as if he has been blessed by the Balance Sisters. He has both the nimble fingers and the claw, so he is a pretty versatile little baby. He could go collecting the shells, or he could even scoop up the fish with Eagle Eye. We'll have to see which job he likes best. And before we end the episode, let's go over to our little gravediggers as well, to see what their very first baby looks like. Oh my goodness. Look at those piercing violet eyes. Oh, that is so eerie on the purr snout, especially against like that mustard colored fur. Still having trouble with that water body, I'm afraid, but gosh, is he gorgeous. We'll have to go back to giving them the gem-related names. So I think we'll name this little baby Tanzanite, if just to go along with those gorgeous, gorgeous eyes. So in the next episode, I hope we'll have a little bit more luck with the water body. Now that Flytrap can return with all of that algae in tow, maybe that's just the one last push of good luck that we need for some water-bodied babies to explore this island. I desperately want to see what's going to be in the middle of the oasis, but unless we want our creatures to take damage, they're going to have a way to get across this water safely. I mean, again, I guess it's not too bad. Most creatures can probably skip over in just one turn. So as long as we have somebody set up over there to heal them, and I guess that would probably be these creatures over here, Messi and Tiger Eye, who could actually swim there safely, as long as the heat doesn't bother him at least. Maybe that would be a good way to usher our creatures deeper into the oasis. I bet there are great secrets to discover there. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!